Hey guys, just doing a quick video. This one is on the solutions to the expansion factorization test for year 10s. So I'm going to explain as I go, as I answer this. Hopefully it's useful to you. So for a plus 3, this is distributive law. So you're going to have 4 times a and 4 times 3. 4 times a is 4a. 4 times 3 is 12. So it's going to be 4a plus 12. This is also distributive law. It's just slightly more complicated. 4a times by a. 4a times by 4. 4a times by a is going to be 4a squared, so it could be either of those two. And then 4a times by 4 is 16a. So it's going to be 4a squared plus 16a. Negative 2a times by, in brackets, a plus negative 6 expanded is... So this practice test is being a bit easy on you because this should be written as a take 6, and then we can consider that anyway because a plus and a minus gets converted to a minus anyway. So negative 2a squared plus negative 2a times by 6. Negative 2a times a is negative 2a squared. So it's going to be negative 2a. And if you've got a negative times a negative, it's going to be positive. So negative 2a squared plus 12a. So we've got 2 d's in a row. Expand and simplify. So we have a FOIL here. Firsts, x times by x. Outers, x times by negative 2. Inners, negative 7 times by x. Last, negative 7 times by negative 2. So x squared. First is going to be x squared. Outers is going to be negative 2x. Inners is going to be negative 7x. Last is going to be positive 14. X squared, negative 2, negative 7 is negative 9x plus 14. X squared, negative 9x plus 14. We've got 3 D answers in a row. Expand and simplify. Again, FOIL, firsts, outers, inners, lasts. First is x squared, outers is 2x, inners is 4x, lasts is 8. 2x and 4x make 6x, so it's going to be A. This one here is not in the real test, but I'll show you anyway. What you can do is FOIL a set of 2 brackets. So I'm going to FOIL the first one. The first one is going to be x squared is firsts, outers is going to be 2x, inners is going to be 1x, last is going to be plus 2. And don't forget that you're still timesing by the last bracket there. I'll put the working out down here. I'm going to simplify that. X squared plus 2x plus 1x is 3x plus 2 times by x plus 3. Now, the order of multiplication doesn't matter, so I could put that at the front. So I'll cross that out and put x plus 3 here. So even though this isn't in your test, I'll show you how you would handle it. You just need to times all the terms in the first set of brackets with all the terms in the second set of brackets. So I'll do that in red. You're going to go x times by x squared, x times by 3x, x times by 2. And then you're going to go 3x times x squared, 3 times 3x, 3 times by 2. So that's going to be x times by x squared is x cubed. X times by 3x is 3x squared. X times by 2 is 2x. And then 3 times by x squared is 3x squared. 3 times by 3x is plus 9x. And then 3 times by 2 is plus 6. Collect the terms. X cubed plus, I've got 3x squared, another 3x squared, but I wrote it weird. That was 3x squared there. So you've got 6x squared plus, I've got 2x and 2x and 9x, that's 11x, and I've got the 6 at the end. So x cubed plus 6x squared plus 11x plus 6. That is A. Next question. The something law is used to expand brackets in the form that is distributive law. Simplify the following expressions. We need to collect like terms. There's no other x squared term, but we've got negative 13x and negative 3x. So you're going to have 3x squared negative 16x plus 10. Here we have multiple 2x squareds. You've got 3x squareds. You have multiple x terms. 10x plus 3x is 13x. Take 2x is positive 11x. And then I have 14 plus 13. That's 27. All right, that's the first page done. Moving on. Using the difference of two squares method, expand and simplify the following. So difference between two squares is the shortcut where if you have the same terms, a and b in brackets, and the only difference is one is adding and one is subtracting, the solution or the expansion and simplification is going to be a squared minus b squared. A is 4x, so 4x squared. Take b, which is y squared. We just need to work out what 4x squared is. It's going to be 16x squared. Take y squared. Okay, that's question 9 done. Question 10, expand and simplify if necessary the following expressions. So I was not telling you how to expand it. This is distributive law. 3 times by x, 3 times by 2. It's going to be 3x plus 3 times by 2 is 6. Distributive law again. 5a times by 2a plus 5a times by negative 4c. You're going to have 5a times by 2a plus 5a times by negative 4c. I'm writing it out because this is a little more complicated. 5a times by 2a is 10a squared. 5a times by negative 4c, well, I'm timesing a negative by a positive, so it's going to be a negative answer. 5 times 4 is 20, negative 20, and then a times by c is ac. Distributive law again. Negative 7x squared times by 2, that's going to be negative 14x squared. Negative 7x squared times by negative, so that's going to be a positive. That's going to be positive 7, and then x squared times x squared is x to the power of 4. Sorry, coffee burp. We've got FOIL here, firsts, outers, inners, lasts. First is k times k squared, plus outers. K times 3 is 3k. Plus inners, 2 times by k is 2k, plus last 2 times by 3 is 6. So we've got k squared plus 5k plus 6. FOIL again, however, okay, if you don't remember the shortcuts, you can always use FOIL, but this is difference between two squares. Diff between two squares because... Does it contain the same numbers and variables? Yes, the only difference is plus and minus. So the answer is going to be the a squared minus the b squared. That's the shortcut. A squared in this situation is m, so it's going to be m squared minus 5 squared, but there's nothing stopping us working out what 5 squared is, so it's going to be m squared take 25. So just remember, if you can't remember that shortcut, you can use FOIL. That shortcut should be on your cheat sheet anyway. Here we have a perfect squares. So perfect squares rule is a squared. Because it's a minus, it's take 2ab plus b squared. That is your a, that is your b. So it's going to be b squared minus 2 lots of b times by 2 plus 2 squared. So you're going to have b squared negative 4b, and then 2 squared is 4. So once again, that's a shortcut. That's a perfect squares. That's a perfect squares expansion. This one was difference between two squares. If you can't remember how to use that shortcut that you've been shown, then just FOIL it. We'll just take a couple more steps. So that's page 2 done. Find the area in terms of x of these three figures. So some of you might complain that we shouldn't be doing measurement, but you've done this in year 8 and year 9. You should be able to find the area of a square, a rectangle, or a triangle. The area of a rectangle is length times by width. So find the area. Well, it's 3x plus 1 long. It's x take 4 wide. You can FOIL it. So 3x times x is 3x squared. Outers is negative 12x. Inners is plus 1x. Last is negative 4. So you've got 3x squared, negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11x. Take 4. It's going to be that many millimeters. This is a square. So it's, well, width. It's still width, length times width, so I'll just write that anyway. Length times width. The only difference is they're going to be the same. So it's going to be 2x plus 3 squared times by itself. That's a perfect square, so the shortcut is, if that's a and that's b, the shortcut is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. A in this case is 2x, so 2x squared. Put a line down here. 2x squared plus 2 lots of 2x, and b is 3, and b squared would be 3 squared. 2x squared is 4x squared. 2 times 2x is 4x, times by 3 is 12x, and 3 squared is 9. And that is in centimeters. Area of a triangle is half of the base times by the height. So we're going to go base times by the height, x plus 5, x minus 5, times by a half. This is difference between two squares here, a, b, and the only difference is the minus. So the answer is going to be, expand that with the shortcut, x squared minus 5 squared. It's going to be half of x squared minus 25. I'd accept that, but you could also go half x squared minus, and what is a half of 25, 12 and a half, and that is in meters squared, because it's area. I forgot to square these. That's in square centimeters, and that is square millimeters. Next, write down the dimensions of the shaded rectangle. That's a weirdly written question. They're already written for us. Might be a typo. Write down the binomial product used to find the area of the shaded region. A binomial product is this. Why is it called binomial? There's two numbers in the brackets. So used to find the area of the shaded region. Well, the shaded region is here. Should use red. The shaded region is here, so it's not all x. The whole thing is x. This little bit here is 2, so this must be x take 2 long. The whole length is x and 5, so the whole thing is x plus 5. So the area of the shaded region is going to be x take 2 times by x plus 5. I can FOIL that. So first, x squared, outers plus 5x, inners negative 2x, plus lasts negative 10. So expanded is going to be x squared plus 5x take 2x plus 3x take 10. That's B done. Oh, okay, I see what this question is asking. It's asking me to write it there. So the shaded region is x take 2 width, and it's going to be x plus 5 long. All right. Find the area of the square of side x centimeters and the rectangle length. Well, if you've got a square that's got sides x centimeters, the area of square is going to be x squared, and the rectangle of length 5 centimeters in width, area of rectangle, will be 5 times by x, so it's going to be 5x. Find the unshaded area, writing it as the sum of the area of the two rectangles. Well, the unshaded area is 2, it's 2, and this is x. So that's going to be, I'll label it as 1. 1 is going to be 2x. And then 2 is 5 wide and 5 long and 2 wide. So 2 is going to be 10. So the unshaded area is going to be 2x plus 10. So that is the third page done. Moving on. All right. So this page, use your answers in C and D to find the area of the shaded region in simplest form. Well, C told me that the area of the whole thing was x squared plus 5x. And then my answer to D told me, so that was from C. The answer to D told me that the unshaded was 2x plus 10. So the shaded area is going to be the whole minus the unshaded. So the whole was x squared plus 5x, and I'm taking all of 2x plus 10. It's important that you group this because you're taking all of that. And so now you need to expand the brackets properly because it's as if there's a negative 1 there. You've got negative 2x take 10. So you've got x squared plus 5 take 2, which is positive 3x take 10. That's the area of the shaded region in simplest form. The Holmes family own a property at the beach. Their land is x meters wide and extends down to the water's edge. Write an expression for the length of the land at any time of the day. Well, the land is 55 meters long, and the tide comes in, it's y meters, whatever it is, at any time of day. So the length is going to be 55, take y meters. Write an expression for the area of the land at any time of the day. Well, it's a rectangle, so it's length times by width. It's always x wide, so it's going to be x times by 55, take y, because that's how long the land is at any time of day. What is the area of the land at low tide? Well, at low tide it's 55 meters long, so it's going to be 55 times by x, which is 55x. The family have decided to subdivide the land by reducing their land width by 30 meters. Write an expression for the area of the land remaining at any time of the day. So they're reducing their width by 30, so now it's going to be x take 30 wide. And the length at any time of day is 55 take y. That's the expression there. Expand the expression. Well, firsts is x times by 55, 55x. Outers is going to be x times by negative y is going to be negative xy. Inners is going to be negative 30 times by 55. I don't know my 55 times tables, so 30 times by 55. Negative 1650. Negative 30 times by negative y is going to be positive 30y. That's expanded. If the tide comes in 10 meters at high tide, what is the area of land at high tide? So high tide, you're being told, is 10 meters in, so y is equal to 10. Area is going to be 55 55 x. So using the expression from before, take x lots of, we know that y is 10, take 1650 plus 30 lots of 10 because we were told y was that. So you're going to have 55x take 10x, and 30 times 10 is 300. 55x take 10x is 45x. Negative 1650 plus 300 is going to be negative 1350. That's the area of the land at high tide. That's that page done. What is the difference between the area of land at low tide before the subdivision and at high tide after the subdivision? Well, the area of land at low tide before was 55x, and at high tide after the subdivision, we just worked out that the area of land at high tide after subdivision was 45x. Take 1350. That's going to be 55x. That's like a negative 1 at the front, so it's going to be negative 45x. Negative 1 times by negative 1350 is positive 1350. 55 take 45 is 10x plus 1350. So all of this is a little practice of FOIL, basically. Right, the second half of the test is factorisation. So we're trying to spot common factors. What's the biggest number that goes into both 6x and 3x? To start off with, I'll write it in full. What are two numbers I can times together to get 6? 2 times 3 times x to get 6x plus 3 times 1 to get 3. What is the biggest thing that goes into both of these? The 3. That's the highest common factor, so it goes out the front. What is left over? 2 and x, so 2x plus, and then you have a 1 here. So 3 bracket 2x plus 1. I'll show you this in full as well. 12d, I see 12 and 4, so I'm going to write 12 in terms of 3 times by 4 times by d times by d. That's the things that you would times together to get 12d squared, plus 4 times by 1 times by d. What's the biggest thing that goes into all of these? 4 and d, 4 and d, that's the highest common factor, so it goes out the front. 4d, and what's left over? 3d, and you have plus 1 in the second section. Next, you've got 5 goes into 20 nicely, and they both have k's, so I'm not going to do it in full now. 5k goes into both of those. What would I have to times 5k by to get negative 5k? I'd have to times it by negative 1. What would I have to times 5k by to get 20k cubed? Negative, no, not negative. That's positive already. 5k, positive 4k squared. That's also the same as 5k, 4k squared, take 1. That either of those I'd accept. This one here. What's the common factor? 1 plus x. 1 plus x is in both of these. I'm going to do this one because it's in full, because it's slightly more complicated. You got 1 plus x, bracket 1 plus x. You got 1 plus x on both sides, so that's the common factor, 1 plus x. What's left over? You have times by 6, take 1 plus x. That's the same as 1 plus x. You need to expand these brackets. Negative 1, negative times by x, negative x. So that's equal to 1 plus x, bracket 6 take 1, which is 5 take x. 7x squared take 4x. The only thing common in these is the x's, so that goes on the outside. What would I have to times x by to get 7x squared? 7x. What would I have to times x by to get negative 4x? Negative 4. Factorize this. You have a common factor in all of these of x, so that goes out the front. To get x cubed, I have to times it by x squared. To get 5x squared, I have to times x by 5x. To get negative 6x, I'd have to times it by negative 6. This isn't fully factorized yet. Negative 6, I can times it by, I could times negative 1 and 6 together, and that adds up to positive 5. So that's also going to factorize to x, x take 1, and x plus 6. Another common factors option here, you've got x take 8 as a common factor, so it goes out the front. What is left over? X and 5. That's that page done. Fully factorize using difference of two squares. So you're being told to use difference of two squares. That's a square number. That's a square number. What did I have to square to get 16? 4 squared. What did I have to square to get 9m squared? I would have had to square 3m. So that's your A and that is your B. So factorize this would be 4 plus 3m and 4 minus 3m. Using difference of two squares, but x cubed is not a squared factor. So how do I deal with this? Well, you'll notice that x goes into both of these, so you can remove it as a common factor. You're going to have x squared take 81. Now we have a difference between two squared option here. You've got x is squared to get itself, and what do you square to get 81? 9 squared. So that is your A, that is your B. So you're going to have x. So it's going to be x plus 9, x minus 9. Fully not this one. Here is a slightly more complex one. You have a square number here. How do you know that? Because it's being squared. This is a square number 2. So you've got x plus 7 all squared minus 5 squared. So your A this time is slightly more complicated. It's x plus 7 and your B is 5. So you're going to have x plus 7 squared is your A. Is your A plus your B, which was 5, times by your x minus 7, not minus, x plus 7 again, take 5 this time. There's nothing else we can do in these brackets, so we can just remove them. So x plus 7 plus 5 is going to be x plus 12. X plus 7 take 5 is going to be x plus 2. Fully factorize using perfect square factorization. You may need to remove the highest common factors first. 2 goes into all of these, so remove 2. You're going to have x squared plus 10x plus 2's into 25 is 2's into 50 is 25. Now I can perfect square factorize this because this is a square number. This is a square number. This is, I'll rewrite it like this. This is x squared plus 10x, and this is 5 squared. So that's going to factorize to 2a, which was x, plus b, which was 5, plus 5 squared. Um, 3x squared plus 24. 3 goes into all of these. 3 goes on the outside, x squared. 3's into 24 is 8. 3's into 48 is 16. Perfect squares. This is your A. 16. What do I square to get that? It's going to be plus 4 squared. So A is x, B is 4. So that's going to be 3x plus 4 squared. Is that page done? Question 17. Fully factorize the following using whichever factorization method covered in this term. So, perfect square is not going to work. The difference between two squares is not going to work because it's not two terms. So try sum and product. What numbers can I times together to get 18? 1 and 18. That's never going to get me 7. 2 and 9. That's going to get me 7. How am I going to get positive 7? I could get 9, take 2 to get positive 7. So that's going to factorize to x, take 2, x plus 9. This one here, I don't have any factorization rules that let you have a number in front of x squared, so I need to remove that. So remove it as a common factor. What do I have to times 3 by to get 3x squared? X squared. What do I times by 3 to get negative 9x? Well, negative 3x. What do I times by 3 to get negative 30? Negative 10. Now I can factorize this in the brackets. 1 and 10 will never get me 3, but 2 and 5 will. I could go 2, take 5, so that's going to factorize to, and I don't want to forget about the 3, so 3 out the front, x plus 2, x take 5. Last one here. I don't like the order of this. I'm used to writing it as negative 2x squared plus 8x plus 64. That looks nicer to me. I don't have any rules to factorize anything with a number in front of x, so I'll remove it as a common factor. Negative 2x squared. What would I have to times negative 2 by to get positive 8x? I'd have to times it by negative 4x. What would I have to times negative 2 by to get 64? Negative 32. Factors of this, 1 and 32 will never get me negative 4. 2 and 16 will never get me negative 4. 4 and 8 will get me negative 4 if I take 8 from 4. So it's going to be negative 2 on the outside, x plus 4, x take 8. That's that page done, and that's the whole thing. Okay, so that is your practice test for expansion factorization. I'm not sure how long that took. That might have been half an hour or something. Hopefully that helps you out, and I'll see you in the next video.